Hello, everyone. Hi, friends. Welcome in. All the little waves. So many good
Hello.
beans already here. Thank you so much for the sub, Jessie. Um, as per usual, we are here with a lovely guest. Today we have Katy.
Hello.
Um, Joopy and I will introduce ourselves as always, even though a lot of you probably know who we are, and then we will ask Katy to introduce herself. So,
Yes.
if you're here, you're on my page, you probably know who I am, but my name is B. I use they them pronouns and they them pronouns. I am a queer and disabled variety streamer who mostly plays cozy games. Um, and then on Sundays does this cheeky little show with Jupiter and whoever we're interviewing just to share a little bit of the backstory behind the creators that you like to watch, because sometimes I guess like we don't always know how people got to be on the platform that they have. So I think it's pretty cool. Who is this B
Right.
person again? Who am I? Don't know.
This is the eternal question. This is at the end of Humans of Twitch, we will find out who B really is.
I've been
Oh,
searching for
man.
24 years, so I would be surprised if this was the thing that gave me the answer.
We're on this journey
That's a
together, at
move.
least.
That's a
Yeah.
move right there.
Oh my gosh. Good morning, friends. My name is Jupiter. I use she, they pronouns. I am a queer Latinx variety streamer. And I play lots of fun games like Animal Crossing, indie games, Dead by Daylight. And on Sunday mornings, do this lovely show with B and all of our amazing guests, telling stories on Twitch and finding a little bit more humanity because we know that this platform needs that.
hmm
Katie, good morning.
Hello, good morning. It's 4 o'clock for me, but good morning to y'all. Yeah, my name is Katie. I am Hateno Crossings, but a lot of people think that my username is Hate No Crossings. So like, if that's what you wanna refer to me as, it's totally fine. Um, I am a full-time variety streamer, and yeah, I play a lot of similar games to B and Jupiter. I play a lot of cozy games, like Stardew and Animal Crossing, and sometimes very, very chaotic multiplayer games with friends. So yeah, that's who I am.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. I think that we're ready to jet set and just start the show. So I will start
Let's
us
do it.
off today. We're so excited to be here talking with you and to get to know you a little bit more.
I'm so
And
excited. I'm nervous. Like I have been very nervous for this. So, but yeah, it's an honor to be on here with y'all. Thank you for having me.
of course. Oh my gosh. Well, just know that we've had these same nerves in the first few shows
hmm
as well. So we're working through it together, and there's never any pressure to have the right answer or the answer that you think is good. We just want to get to know you a little bit more, and anything that you're going to share with us is completely valid, and just beautiful. So don't stress too much about it.
Thank you.
Um, the first question that I have, because obviously you are a full-time creator, and so
I
this
am.
is the a big part of your life. So
hmm
how did becoming a content creator help with your journey in finding your place in the world?
That's a really great question. I, it kind of like I have always had like an online presence. I think it started with like Neopets. That's where like my journey of like the online world. I think a lot of us around this age, I think that's where a lot of us started. But yeah, I when I was like 17, 18, I was a fashion blogger. Wasn't very good at it.
I had a fashion
But
blogging
yeah.
phase too.
Yeah, I was a fashion blogger. It put my boyfriend through absolute misery trying to take pictures of me in like the middle of Belfast. It was a time in my life. But I always had like a passion for creating content. I really enjoyed like I tried to make a couple of vlogs here and there, very much inspired by the likes of like Zoella and all of those like back in the day kind of YouTubers. Ooh, woo. Um, but yeah, I always had like a passion for this like creative side. making video content and written content. So I was at university, and a lot of people, when I tell them this, they're like, what the heck? But I went to university to study law. And if you know me at all, you know that like I was clearly very, very lost because I didn't know like what I wanted to do. I just was like, I'll go to university and study law because I could be a lawyer and make lots of money, and it just doesn't work that way. So I was always very lost, didn't know what I wanted to do, very indecisive. And it was like kind of building like underneath this like passion for creativity and content creation. I just didn't like properly realize it. So I dropped out of university after 8 months because like it was horrible, hated it. Law is very hard. So anybody who's a lawyer, like kudos. But yeah, I just went straight into full-time like office work, and this opportunity came up to be a social media intern. And that is where like it was recognized that this was like what I really wanted to do. So through all of that, I just like really fell into my passion for content creation, and started watching more gaming YouTube, some people on Twitch. And I always kind of thought that like I feel like a lot of creative people who've done things like Twitch and YouTube have always felt like I really want to do that. But I don't think I could actually do that. It feels like unreachable for me for some reason. But when the pandemic started, I was like, I'm gonna give this a try. And yeah, like I always say that deciding to start streaming was the best decision I ever made, because I truly feel like I have found the thing that I am like most passionate about. And it's really helped me build in like confidence and character, because not only have I gained a lot of skills on like a kind of professional side of it, but also I've grown a lot as a person in terms of confidence and like making friends from different areas of life and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like the journey of it. It really has it bubbled up through the surface of like my journey over the last like 10 years. Like this is where I am, and I truly feel like of everything I've ever done, this is where I like feel like I belong, in a sense. That's really soppy, but yeah.
Well, that's wonderful. I love it.
I resonate so much with like how like pieces of our journey like come together that we like didn't realize would have an influence on where we are, but they do.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you tell me this story, and even what you wrote in your like about section, I think to myself like you have had like a lot of transitions when it comes to like work passions in your life.
Many.
What gives you the confidence to move on from something when you realize like this is no longer serving me?
It's really hard. Like the first time that I ever had to actually face that was at university. When I decided to drop out. Like dropping out of university, making that decision was one of the hardest decisions I've ever had to make, because I didn't expect to make it, first of all, and it's really hard to like face failure, even though I don't see it as failure now, but at the time it felt like, you know, my parents were really excited for me to go to university and study law. Like I was really excited for myself because, you know, when you grow up in the society that we're in, you go to school, you go to higher education, it's like kind of like the path that is seen as like the only path when we're that age. So it was really, really hard to face that. It was like a very, very difficult decision. And at the time, it was like I knew I had to do it. There was a lot of different reasons why I did it. I didn't really fit into the university lifestyle. I didn't like my course, but also there was a lot of financial reasons because university is not cheap. And I was near London. I went to university near London, so it was like even more expensive than like your average if I had went to university in Belfast, for example. So there's a lot of reasons for it. And I think that was like a real foundation for me to be able to make these kinds of decisions, because ultimately, with all of these like different reasons why I had to make that decision, the biggest one was my mental health. Um, and since I was a teenager, I've suffered from anxiety and depression. And I always found it, especially as a teenager, to really hard to put myself first, um, or put my mental health first in a lot of situations. And that was the first time I ever really did it. So when it came to jobs and making those transitions in jobs, um, there's one particular job that I was in for 5 years, and that was the one that I got the social media internship for. I started there as an intern, worked my way up right to digital marketing manager of that company. And while it taught me a lot of skills and like I grew in my profession in that area, um, it was horrible. Um, the people that I worked for were not nice at all, and deciding to leave that job was really hard. It sort of like reminded me of when I dropped out of university, but that me leaving that job was 100% putting myself and my mental health first. Um, which was just really hard because I had always seen myself in that job, like building a career, like working my way up, like kind of like how you're supposed to, quote unquote, which I don't believe anymore, but that's what I believed at the time. Um, so it was hard for me to just let go of that. But I was at the point where I just had to. So yeah, making all of these like transitional things in my life, like I'm proud of myself for doing, because it is just recognizing that I had to put my mental health first and had to make these decisions for myself. And it's never been like easy, but I always think like if something is making you so unhappy, you have to, there has to be something where if you're able to and you're in the position to be able to fix it, to help yourself, then no job or no like school like is worth your mental health just crumbling, which mine was. So yeah.
That's right. Yeah. Wow. I think about how like especially people our age. I think we're like one of the last generations that kind of grew up with this. You graduate high school and then you go to university and then you get a job. That's how it
Hmm.
works. Where clearly that's not how our society works anymore, right? You know,
No.
getting a degree is no guarantee. Putting yourself into major debt is not great if there's no guarantee.
Hmm.
And I'm glad that hopefully we're moving towards a different future with maybe free college, or realizing that you can learn skills on your own without school. But
Hmm.
yeah, I grew up with the same belief. I did go all the way through university, and it's like
Hmm.
sometimes I sit and think like, was it worth it? I think that it
Hmm.
was, thankfully, overall. But
Yeah.
I don't blame anyone who decides not that that's not their path,
Yeah.
because what we're told is not the truth anymore.
No.
Not the truth of
No.
society anymore.
No. And it's
Gosh.
just like it's what like my school experience was, it was very like you have to go to university. There is no other option. Like
Mhm.
you have to. The kind of school that I went to was very like traditional. Like I live in Ireland, so like you can imagine like it was like a religious school as well. So it was like very like you go to university, you get a job, you get married, you have kids. Like that's it. And I
Yeah.
just like try like breaking out of that, I think is why I felt it so hard, like it was so hard for me to like drop out of university and do all that stuff, because it really like builds you up to think that, especially if you have family or whatever, this like they're all so proud of you for doing this thing or whatever. So it's just so weird. It just doesn't work. And I have so much respect for, I think it's so cool, people who know what they want to do from a very young age. They go through school, they go to university, and they get the job and the thing that they want to do. I think that's like such a cool thing. But I also think it's really cool if like it takes you a really long time to figure out what you want to do. Um, and yeah, you're so right. There's no set way to do it, especially anymore. Like I don't know if there's, well, There probably has been in the past. Like my parents' age, like they're very set, but especially now in the age of like technology and everything, it's just not the case anymore.
Yeah, just breaking the mold, nothing set in stone, I think,
Mm-hmm.
and realizing that is very powerful. So good on you.
Thank
And
you.
hopefully that's a message to other people out there who might be struggling with what the heck do I do now that I'm an
Mm-hmm.
adult, because they tell you the answers, but
They
there's more
don't.
Yeah.
than one answer to any problem.
Yeah.
If anything, I've learned in this life.
I feel
Yeah.
like our generation as well, not that we're all very close in age. I feel like we've learned to like work to live, not live to work. Like we
Mhm.
want our
Mm-hmm.
we don't want like we want money obviously to be able to do the things that we want to do in life, but like we don't want our entire life to be surrounded by work.
Yeah.
Especially work that makes us unhappy. Like much
Mm-hmm.
more willing to jump ship, and it scares the bejesus out of like the boomers. They're like, "What do you mean you've had like 4 jobs this year?" I'm like, "If they're toxic, I'm out."
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't
Mm-hmm.
have the time or energy, and as they always say, it's like people leave bad staffs. They don't really leave their job. They usually leave like the
100%.
manager or
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
not Toasty telling everyone to quit their job.
Everyone quit your job. Reject capitalism. Quit your job.
Please,
Oh
yes.
well.
We're all becoming internet personalities. Let's go.
Yeah, let's go. Let's
Well,
go.
well, we all kind of are. So I think
Yeah.
it sounded like a joke, Jupiter.
Join us is what I'm saying.
JK, unless. Oh my
Oh my
Oh
goodness.
gosh.
my gosh.
Droopy, is it
Um,
okay if I ask a follow-up question before we
Please,
move on to the next?
absolutely.
Um,
Yes.
so related to like transitions and like figuring things out for your mental health, obviously you're like on a content creation break right now, and I feel like you've kind of been in a transition with your content as well, like as time has gone on
Hmm.
recently. And I'm just like
Hmm.
curious what you feel like that has taught you about yourself, like this period in your journey as a creator.
Um, it has taught me a lot, mostly that I am extremely hard on myself. Um, any content creator that is not hard on themselves, wow, teach me your ways. I don't know. um, yeah, I like looking back. I mean, I think it's just natural, like the transition that I have been making with my content. I started just mostly playing Animal Crossing because I love that game. Can't really say that I love it right now, and anyone who plays Animal Crossing will kind of understand what I mean. Please give us an update, Nintendo. Please give us a good update. I would just really like that. Um, but yeah, I don't know, like I posted like a huge thing on Twitter when I took my break. I was for a few months having like a lot of trouble with anxiety in the middle of streams. Um, don't really know like what was triggering it, what was causing it. But I was finding it just really difficult. It always seemed to be like I'd be streaming, I'd go on my first break, and then I'd have like a little cry on my first break. Don't know why. I could be having a great stream, but just for some reason my brain would just like decide not today, not today. So I think I was feeling very burnt out, and uh, one of the things that I always talk about on stream is just being really honest with my community about how I'm feeling in terms of my mental health and content creation. Because I do have a lot of people who watch me who are also streamers or want to start streaming. And I think from like the outside, it can seem like if you're a partner or you do this full time, you get to this point where like it's not hard anymore, which is just not the case. It's never the case, no matter like what level you're at. It's just you just encounter like different obstacles. Um, so I'm always very honest, and I think
Goodness gracious.
I took this break because I started streaming at the height of the pandemic, like right when it started, and everybody was at home and nobody had anything else to do apart from watch Twitch. Um, and now the world is like changing and things are very different. And I think it's really hard, especially on Twitter. I see so many amazing content creators going through it right now. Like everyone is feeling that shift, which is like we have streamers who've done this for years and they're like, this is totally normal, like this is what it's actually like. Then there's streamers who started in the pandemic and they're like, oh, this is what it's actually like. So that transitional period is really hard. I was finding it really hard, even though there's like a rational side of your brain that's like, I get why this is happening, I get why numbers are fluctuating and why this is all over the place and why I feel a little bit lost. And then there's the irrational side that's like, your content sucks, you're no good anymore. And trying to like navigate those feelings when you're also really burnt out, which I was, is um is hard. So I had to take a break. I had to take a step back and just like reflect on why I love streaming and what it actually means to me. Um and yeah, it has been really, really good. Um and I think it's just natural to go through like a lot of transitional periods as a content creator of any capacity, but especially as a streamer, because things are just always changing. It's a very weird like form of content creation to get used to. Um so I feel like it's always a case of like being very introspective and paying attention to what you're doing, what you enjoy, like it's really easy to get caught up in like statistics and that freaking channel analytics page. But when you bring it back to like why you actually do what you do and why you want to do it, um, I've been doing a lot of reflecting on that in my break, and I just really miss my community and like that interaction that we have and like the laughs that we have and everyone roasting me about my weird food choices and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I feel like any streamer who's going through like a transitional period or like feels that shift, you're 100% not alone. 110% not alone. I feel like everyone's feeling it right now and yeah, it's just a case of like just reminding yourself why you do what you do. I think that's the most important thing that you can do.
That's such great advice. And you're right. I mean, the world is changing. So obviously, the world as we know it online is very much seeing that change happening. And
Mhm.
it's happening to everyone. I think that I love what you say because even though you can recognize that and it's rational, you know what's happening, that doesn't make it any easier, right?
No.
Your
Yep.
feelings are still valid.
Mhm.
How you are reacting to it is just your human nature. So I thank you for, being
Yeah.
transparent about that because I know that's something that myself included, so many people are struggling with right now.
Mhm.
So just to know that it's okay to be going through this. It's okay to take a break. It's okay to have some
Totally.
self-reflection.
Mhm.
Twitch is gonna be here.
Yeah. It's
You
gonna
know?
be there. Yeah.
Yeah, Twitch is not going anywhere.
To be brave enough to get off the like rat race, right? Like the way
Yeah,
this thing is set up is to feel like you're running on like a hamster wheel and there's no way to get off, and if you get off like you're not going to keep moving. But I think
Yeah.
what I had to learn, like personally I learned this through my college experience, but I think you can learn it in whatever capacity that sometimes you have to take a couple steps back in order to like move forward faster instead of like
mhm,
100%.
trudging through the mud and just like really struggling your way through.
yeah,
It
Yeah.
becomes an unsustainable journey when you do that,
Mhm.
right? Like
right.
you want to be here, you want to do this for a long time, probably, I would
Mhm.
assume. And in order to
Hopefully.
do that for a long time, you have to create space for yourself to do some of that like self-reflecting that you were talking about.
100%.
Yeah.
And
Like,
also like I think with one of the like biggest problems that we all know, with Twitch, with any social media platform, is like the algorithm goes against you if you are not consistent, and it sucks. Like it really, really sucks. And I from the moment that I started streaming, I didn't know if I'd love it when I started, first of all, but when I really got into the way of like consistently streaming and doing all that, the thought of taking a break was never on my mind, which is like wild. Like that is just wild. I think I took my first proper break like 9 months into streaming, maybe. Which is wild. It's just wild. Like you'd never work a job like that, you know? Um, and when I really, really started to struggle, which was a couple of months ago, um, shout out to one of my best friends who is Cobble. He had a conversation with me and was like, look, if you want this to be a longevity thing, if you want this to be long term, you have to take a break. Like you have to give yourself rest because you're just going to keep going and going and going and going. And then you're just going to burn yourself out and you won't be able to continue. You might quit. And I did have feelings of wanting to quit. Like I was like, I can't do this anymore. This is way too hard. So that conversation with him especially just made me realize like it's still going to be there. This like irrational thought of feeling like I'm going to lose everything if I take a break just doesn't happen. Like maybe there's some like numbers and statistics that you have to build upon again, but you will get back to that point eventually, you know? Um, but it's not worth just crumbling yourself and running yourself into the ground just because like you're trying to keep up with a social media algorithm, like especially if you want it to be a long-term thing. So yeah, shout
It's
out to
great
Cobble for his
advice.
wise words.
Yeah, that's a good friend. I think
Yeah.
sometimes the friend we need the most is the friend that tells us what we don't want to hear.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
True.
like sometimes it's hard, but it's good that you know they're really on your side when they do that.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh. Well, let's pivot a little bit because I think you've told us so much amazing things about your break and about, you know, just trudging through this new normal that we're living in and this shift in life.
Mm-hmm.
What is anything, doesn't have to be content related, but it can be.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing you're most proud of in life?
The thing I'm most proud of. Oh my goodness. Um, that's hard because there's a lot of things that I'm proud of in terms of like achievements and things that I've done in like content creation and profession. Um, but a lot of the time, like I'm proud of like it's gonna sound really this is gonna sound really cheesy. I'm just proud of uh the way that I'm willing to learn things and the way that I'm willing to allow myself to grow as a person. Um, and kind of like tying in with, I'm really proud of how much I love and support my friends. Like, that is one thing that I love to do very much.
Very good
I'm
at
just,
it.
thank you. I'm just, especially as a white woman with a bit of a platform, not the biggest in the world and will never be, but I just think I'm proud of the fact that I don't know if proud is like the right word, but I'm just I like the fact that I am someone who's willing to use my platform and have conversations because you know I've had conversations with people in my life like when I have raised money for charities in the past and stuff like that, people who don't really understand Twitch and don't really understand like that kind of like having a platform kind of concept, having like, well, why are you like talking about this stuff and like why are you doing this? Why are you doing that? And it's like, well, I could really easily just play games on the internet and make an income, right? But like for me, one of the most important things that I've ever experienced in any job is satisfaction. Like job satisfaction is a huge deal for me. It always has been. Um, and where I get satisfaction from creativity and producing content that I'm proud of. I also, what makes me happy is actually being able to contribute something and be able to learn something because, again, as a white woman with a platform, there's always room for me to listen and learn and improve. Um, and so, yeah, is proud the right word? I don't know if that's like something to quote unquote be proud of, but uh yeah, like I'm proud of the way that I have grown as a person, especially in the year that I've been streaming, like in terms of confidence, in terms of like love that I have for my friends and yeah, the things that I'm willing to like face introspectively as well. I'm proud of the way I've done that, I guess. Does that make sense?
It does.
It does. And I think it's totally valid to be proud of yourself for those things. You know, I don't think you have to feel silly about that at all. I
Thank
think
you.
people want to like maybe I think that the world we live in maybe wants to like invalidate those feelings or make it seem like that's not a big deal, but
Mm,
it really is. And it's totally okay to be proud of yourself for those things.
mm,
Yes. It's funny because you supporting your friends is one of the first things that I thought about when I was sitting down to write your questions. So I do have a question for you related to that because I had a feeling that that would come up because I know how much your friends mean to you. And it's just, and this is, I feel like it's a tough question, but I think you can, I don't know, we'll see. I,
okay,
where
hit
do
me.
you get your passion for uplifting others in the spaces you're in? Because not everybody does that.
Good question. I guess it kind of stems from having a lot of friendship trauma in my life. I've had some like really like bad experiences with friends like when I was a teenager and um yeah, I don't know, like I I just always feel like especially on Twitch when you think of streaming and content creation, a lot of stuff like when I started in especially like the fashion blogging world, a lot of it was very competitive. And that was like one of the things that I really didn't enjoy about it because I just always thought to myself like there's so many people in this world, like there's room for all of us. I don't really get like why this is so competitive and so not nice. So when I started streaming, uh, I don't know, like it just came really naturally to me. Like I've always been somebody who has an immense amount of love for their friends who doesn't, and it makes me just really happy to see people that I love succeeding. Um, yeah, it's I think it stems from having friendships that were just not great toxic friendships in the past and just wanting to really nurture the ones now that mean a lot to me. And I just don't think, especially streamer friends, because that's the space that we're in, um, I just don't see my friends as like competition. I want to see them succeed as much as I want to succeed, and that's just always been like the thing for me since I started. I think it's really cool when my friends achieve stuff, and I just want to support them on their way to doing that. And it makes me really happy. It just makes me very happy. Yeah,
Yes. Community over
I'm just
competition, for sure.
yeah, 100%. I'm just a big sap for my friends. Like,
You're
yeah,
so cute, Katie, because you keep like you're like, oh, I don't know if that's like too soppy or too. I'm like, Katie, you are like the queen of uwus. Like, is anyone surprised that your answers are sappy? Not a single soul, love.
yeah,
Not
yeah,
a
I
single
am.
soul.
I really am. Yeah, it's Yeah. I get like there's an element of, I think like one of the things that I talk about on my stream a lot is that kind of thing with friendships, especially in content creation spaces and streaming, obviously, is like jealousy, right? Because, you know, you can see if you have a streamer friend, and I'm sure like all of us have experienced this, and some people in chat might have experienced this as well, maybe not particularly in streaming, but in other spaces. It's like you see you may be doing something really similar to your friend, right? And you, for streaming, for example, you see them reaching numbers like viewers, subs, follows, whatever, and you're like, why can't that be me? But I think it's how you uh, allow those feelings to manifest is what's most important. So if you let them manifest into resentment, where it's like you get like agitated that it's not happening for you, that will manifest in your relationship with them. And it just does, whether you mean for it to or not. It'll subconsciously manifest if you let it be resentful in that way. Or if you do have those, something that I always try to do is use it for motivation. It's like, well, I think that's really cool that they're doing that. What could I do to like reach the same level of success that I view them achieving at the minute? You know what I mean? And it's taken me like a really, really long time to learn how to do that, because I think as just as human beings, we're all like very jealous by nature. It's really easy to just, even if you don't mean to, it's easy to feel feelings of jealousy. And I don't think it should be shameful either, because everybody wants to be happy and everybody wants to be successful, right? So um, but I think it's really important to pay attention to how those feelings like manifest, and that's where you kind of stop seeing your friends as competition. Because like me and all my streamer friends, we have like different communities, different approaches to content creation, and different conversations, different personalities. We're not the same person, so there's room for everybody, you know. And I always like to talk about how jealousy is not a shameful thing, and it's not, it doesn't always have to be a bad thing, as long as you know, let it manifest in a more of a positive way than resentment, because that's just going down a really bad path.
Yeah.
All about how you navigate those feelings, I think, and especially with friends, like you said, like it's normal, but don't take that out on your friend. You know,
No.
that's not their fault that you're having those feelings.
No.
And being happy for others is just such a beautiful thing.
Mhm.
Yeah,
And I
think
love that you said that you use it for motivation. Like, what a positive spin, you know? It's like you take a pivot step and like, let's go in a positive direction with this. Let's
Mhm.
not go down this path of resentment and hatred, because the
Mhm.
world, God knows the world does not need more of that, especially,
Nope.
you know, with your loved ones.
Mhm. That's
no.
100%.
And some things need to be worked out, like with your therapist, in a journal, and not on the
Mhm.
timeline, and not with your
Not on the
friends,
timeline.
Not in a
and
Twitch
Nope.
chat.
not in a Twitch chat, not on a stream,
Nope.
not
Nope.
Oh
any,
gosh.
like, gosh, too relevant
Just
at the
write all your
moment.
feelings down on a
Right.
page and
And
then
or
burn it.
like if you need to talk, if you need to speak to someone, like maybe talk to someone unrelated so that they can, and someone who's gonna call you on your shit, like you were saying
Yes.
earlier, right? Like someone unrelated to the situation so they can see it with like a clear eye, but also someone who's gonna be like, hey, you know, your pal didn't do anything wrong. You're kind of being a
Yeah.
butthead. Knock it
Yep.
off, so that you can be like, okay, you're
Yep.
right. I am not, you know.
Mhm.
We all
Mhm.
need friends in our lives who are gonna tell us
Yeah.
when we're
Put
like really
you.
acting out of pocket.
Yeah. They'll tell you like it is. I definitely have friends like that. My Twitch mods are like my closest friends. They are my best friends in the whole world. And they'll call me out on my shit all the time. Like they are not afraid to be like, Katie, shut the fuck up.
Mine either. Mine either. One's doing it in chat right now.
We need it though. It keeps us honest.
Yes, yes.
Oh my gosh. All right. Let's see. I want to ask a fun question. I think we've earned a fun question.
Earned a fun
Yes.
question. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it.
Katie's told us you've told us so many amazing things. This is like a peek inside your brain, and I'm like, okay, what is your current favorite game that you are playing, and why?
Oh my gosh, right. So you expect me to say like Stardew, something cozy. I'm a Fortnite gamer, y'all. I am a Fortnite gamer.
Heck yes.
Why is everyone addicted to Fortnite right now?
Everyone's
We all
addicted to
have the
Fortnite.
same brain cells.
Fortnite is the move right
For
now.
real. Like this is completely Brit's fault. One of my best friends, Zanief's girl, shout out, love her so much. But one day she was like, "Do you want to play Fortnite on my stream?" Never played Fortnite in my life. I was like, "Oh, okay." Didn't know what I was doing. And when I played it, I was like, "I am never playing that again. What was that? What was that?" And then my best friends, who are also my mods, like I was saying, they were like, "Kind of want to try Fortnite." I was like, "Okay, let's give it another go." Y'all, I play Fortnite every day. Every day of my break, I've played Fortnite.
I love that for
There's been days on my days off where I have woken up and the first thing I've done is turn on my PC and play Fortnite. Like, it's a problem.
I know,
So
I
it's
can see your
definitely-
status, my love.
Yeah. You see me on Discord, my status is probably playing Fortnite.
you.
There was a day like I just had like a bad day like last week, and I played Fortnite for a really long time. Don't want to talk about it. And Cobble messaged me just with the words "Fortnite gamer girl." I was like, shut up, just shut up, because my Discord status for like a really long time was playing Fortnite. So yeah,
I
I would say that's my favorite game.
I remember having a meeting with you one time, Katie, and you were like, "Oh my god, I'm so tired. I've really got to go to bed." Like, it was like
Listen,
3 in the morning your time. And we hop off the meeting, and literally 2.2 seconds later, your status went from playing Google Chrome to playing Fortnite, and Katie
I
messaged
started
me
typing.
We started typing at the exact same time because I was like, "What is this, Katie? Why are you going on Fortnite at 3 a.m.?"
I knew you were gonna perceive me. And listen, the Fortnite store for me changed at 1 a.m. So I had to have a little peek at what was in the store. And yes, that is me admitting that I've spent real money on Fortnite. Yep.
She didn't.
There's
just
no shame in that. There's no shame in that.
Narrator says she did not just look at the store. She did, in fact, play Fortnite with B and Brit at 3:30 in the morning.
I did. Yeah, I did.
Now,
Yeah.
for someone who is like on the brink of jumping off the cliff into playing Fortnite, why would you recommend it? What are you enjoying about the game?
Oh my goodness, Jupiter, you'll love it. Especially if you love Dead by Daylight, because I know you've been getting into Dead by Daylight too.
Heavily.
I think for me, I love games where I can play with friends, right? Because for a long time I was on the Dead by Daylight hype, and I just loved like getting in voice chat playing with my friends. I don't think I've ever played Dead by Daylight solo. I don't think I've ever done a solo queue of Dead by Daylight, because I just love like just playing with my friends. So the fact that you can do that in Fortnite is a lot of fun. You just, you're with your squad. It's a good time. I think with me as well, I sometimes have a problem with like just sitting down and like relaxing and playing a game like Stardew or The Sims. And as much as I love those games and I can do it on stream, for some reason, I don't understand my brain all the time. But Fortnite being like these like bursts of little rounds where you like could be playing for 5 minutes, could be playing for half an hour. I kind of like that. I like that there's like it comes to an end quite quickly, and it's just so fast paced. And it's just like when you eliminate somebody, especially with a headshot, it's just really satisfying.
That sounds very satisfying.
Yeah,
It is very satisfying.
It's a great time.
Yeah, I've been convinced.
Doopy anytime. Pew pews. Let's go.
Yeah, I will. Yeah, let's go. Let's be trio We will get them victory royales, don't you worry.
I'm ready.
I remember when Katy introduced me to, I was like, Katy, I'm really scared. Will you play Fortnite with me, like just the two of us, so I can learn before I play with anyone else? And she was like, yeah, of course. And then we got like 6 victory royales, which I kept saying over and over again. And then like a month later, after I'd been playing for a little while, Katy goes, B, I just need to like tell you that you can be excited about your victory royales, but when you first start playing, you're playing against bots. And I was like, listen, Katy, let me have my moment.
Yeah. It's like, so Fortnite is like, with Dead by Daylight, it's like ranked matches. With Fortnite, it's skill based, so there's levels to the battle pass, which is like the thing that they bring out every season. From 1 to 100, you can go over level 100, but it's skill based matchmaking. So in the beginning, you don't have any stats, you don't have any skills, so you're paired with bots. And me and my mods all started playing it at the same time, and we literally played for like a few hours. The first time we played it, we got 15 victory royales in a row, and we were like, we are gods at this game. What are we doing? And then as we played more, we're like, oh, this is skill-based matchmaking. So it takes like your eliminations and your assists and all that kind of stuff into consideration to match you with people that are actually not bots and quite good at the game, actually. And it's quite heartbreaking to get to that point.
Well, I'm glad I know this going in, so because I would also be like, well, I'm the best player in the world, so move over, Ninja.
Yeah, we were like, well, it's time to like get involved in tournaments, like let's win like millions of dollars. It's fine.
We are esports Fortnite gamer girls now. Let's go.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Yep.
Okay, well, after much research, I've learned that Fortnite is the new game for me, so I will see
Fortnite is
you out there.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, it's like these when I first started playing Fortnite, the store that they have that I was checking at 1 a.m., they have like these emotes, right? And before I started playing Fortnite, I was like, who spent money on Fortnite emotes, right? Who would do that? Me, I would do that. Because I bought so many the other day. And they have a BTS emote, and it just brings me so much serotonin. So, you know, yeah. Just warning you now. Just giving you these warnings before you go into it.
As someone who has spent real money on Dead by Daylight, I am prepared.
Oh, yeah. Same. Yeah. I had to buy that Trickster DLC and one of Trickster's outfits because, woo! Yeah.
Now, I've heard that the Fortnite skins and the emotes, it's like a whole new world. Like there's endless options, and I'm a little afraid of that for my wallet.
Yeah.
You should be. You should be. You should be. I've got no advice for you other than you should be.
Yeah, you should be.
I'm just teasing. Control is possible. I do only own one skin.
For me, that's not the case. Control
like, no,
is not possible. No. Should I make a confession right now? I'll make a confession.
Yes.
So at the minute, for the last couple of days in the Fortnite store, they've had what's called the Icon series emotes, which is like copyrighted, like licensed music, right? I've bought 5 of them. Yeah.
Love that. That's okay. It can be our little secret.
It's my confessions.
Our little secret and everyone
in the world.
Here.
Yeah. Nobody chat.
No one
if
else
you tell
needs to
anybody this, I swear.
I do think the next time Katy streams Fortnite, you should all go into her chat and be like, oh, this is the girl that bought all 5 of the...
Yeah, I deserve to be roasted for that. It's fine, don't worry about it. I accept it.
Emma, yes! I'm so excited. Emma's downloading Fortnite right now.
Emma, I am so excited to play with you. I'm just gonna say that right now. Emma tweeted last night being like, so how do I Fortnite? And I was like, I will play with you.
Everybody, like all the sprites were like commenting below your comment like, okay, when? Because we're all always in the Discord playing pew pews.
Yeah, we really are.
Foundation of the Suit Sprite team, British accents and playing Fortnite.
What else do you need?
Yes, that's it. Yeah.
That's it. I can't. Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. Other than, so I feel like one thing that you have like commented on in your little description was like your partner, and I feel like other than gaming, like through all of this, like obviously you've had your partner for a long time. 8 years is a long time to be with
8 years is a
somebody,
long time. Yeah.
um, which is amazing. And my curiosity as someone who's never been in a relationship for that long is like, what do you think has allowed your relationship to work for the last 8 years so successfully?
I don't know, like it's so what like every time we talk about it, we're like, we've been together for such a long time. Like what? I just think like from like pretty much like when I met him, his name is Adam. He I don't know, like we just he's my partner, but he's also like my best friend. Like he knows me more than anybody. He sometimes knows me better than I know myself. And we just have like a really deep understanding of each other as people, and he is without a doubt one of the most supportive people in the entire world. Like the fact that he's put up with me and my shit for 8 years, like that boy deserves an award. um yeah, I don't know, like it took like I think with any relationship, like it took us a really long time to get like good communication skills, which is very important in relationships. Be communicative. Um, Friendships too, all relationships, and in any case. Um, but yeah, like we just communicate very well, and we've lived together as well for 5 years. So yes, like I genuinely don't I don't think I'm a person that could give relationship advice because we the way that we met is like the most like old school way of meeting now. Like we met in a bar and I was like really tipsy and I told my friends that he was cute. It was all that. Like our relationship predates like Tinder even, which is just wild. I've never been on Tinder in my life, which is wild. But yeah, we just have really good communication skills, and he is very very understanding of what I do, and he gives me the space that I need to do things, but also we still put in effort in our relationship. I think like when I first started streaming, like I was so consumed with it. I have a tendency to fixate on things, and streaming was like one of the things that I fixated on right at the very beginning. So it was like everything, it was all consuming, all I ever wanted to do. Um, and we had to like adjust to that because he was like, "Hello, like I still exist. Like, do you want to spend time with me?" So it's always, I feel like in any relationship, even with friendships, it's like it's always a learning curve. I feel like there's always more to learn about a person. Like even when I look back, even like a year ago, and especially when we like moved in together, I just think like, wow, like we really didn't know each other the way we know each other now? So for me, it's just always a learning curve. And especially when you have so many transitional periods in your life, like when I left the really, really toxic job that I had, um, I went for a couple of job interviews and thought I was going to go straight back into office work, but I actually decided to work for myself for a period of time. I was a freelance copywriter and social media manager, so he was very, very supportive in that time for me to be able to do that. That's what I needed to do at that time because after what happened in my last job, I just couldn't face going back into an office at that point. So yeah, I think just having like a really deep understanding of each other and always like paying attention to what one another is going through, the transitional periods we have, and being very attentive to that is always really important. And communication is like number one. I'm not always great at communicating because I can be a little bit of a sulky baby sometimes, but like, that's fine. So yeah, but 8 years, yeah, it's a long time. But it
That's
still
amazing.
feels like no time at all, also.
You've just gone
I,
through a lot in the last 8 years, so it's very impressive to me. Like, I don't know. he just must be a very like stable human in your life, given like
He's
yeah.
very patient. Like that's what he's a very patient boy. That's what I'll say.
That's
But
good
he's
though.
great.
We
He's
all
great.
deserve people in our life who are steady. Like those,
Yeah.
Mhm.
we all need that sometimes,
Yeah.
especially us a little bit more
Mhm.
emotional beings.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm. And especially with the world of just being a creative, content creation, and just being a creative, because things can be so wishy-washy. Obviously, we are
Mhm.
learning, and so having someone who not only was there for the transitional periods, and finding your bliss and following your journey, but understanding and being patient during the unknown, unprecedented times that we've been living through.
Yeah.
So that's amazing. That's great.
Mhm. Mhm. And he just like we had a conversation with with friends like a really really long time ago, and there's just like the kind of conversation that we were having was just sort of like, like what do you do if your partner goes through like a rough time, especially in terms of like transitioning from a job and you have like financial strain. Um, and we were having this conversation. I found it very interesting because Adam and I had just went through that. That's when I left that really like horrible job and decided to start working for myself. And Adam's response, like, he was like, me and Katie, it's just like, no question, I'll support her. If you like whatever needs to happen, we will make it happen. And that was just like at that moment, I looked at him and I was like, you good egg. You're a good egg. And I feel the same about him, like I would support anything that he like if he decided to change his career or whatever, you know?
Mhm.
Um yeah, I thought that was a nice little moment. Just no hesitation, just like, yeah, well, they'll be there to support you. That's the kind of person he is. Very lucky. Don't know what planet he comes from, but very glad that he landed on Earth.
It takes two to tango, Katie. You wouldn't have gotten yourself a good egg if you weren't a good egg yourself, my love.
That's right.
Aw.
And like you said, it's that mutual, it's that symbiosis in a relationship. Like when you heard him say that, you're like, yeah, that's exactly how I feel too. You
Yeah.
both know where you stand, and you're standing together. So that's strength.
Mm-hmm. I just seen Brit say in chat that Adam doesn't believe in aliens. That's because he is one. That's the only qualm I have with him. He doesn't believe in aliens. I just don't understand. That's a whole other conversation. But yeah, Adam doesn't believe in aliens, and I don't know.
All right.
I don't
On our
know.
follow-up
Suspicious.
show, our follow-up episode with Katie, we will dive into
We
why
will.
We'll
aliens
get
are
Adam
real.
on. We'll get
Yeah,
Adam
we'll
on
get
as well. Just be like,
Adam
why?
on.
Explain.
I will take you down the deep end of YouTube where there are many of scary documentaries about the realities of aliens, and then after we're done we will see how you feel it.
Yeah. It's because he is one. Bert's right. Yeah, he is one. So that's why he's just trying to cover his tracks.
It makes sense. You said you don't know what planet he comes from, so I think we're getting
Yeah,
closer to uncovering this
it's a cover up.
mystery.
It's a cover up.
Oh my gosh. All right.
Sorry, Adam, if you're watching it, not an alien. You're say I love you.
No, not
Yeah,
Katie being like, oh,
that's all
I've
fine.
got to cover up. I've got to cover up with the ooh
Yes.
woo.
Oh, smooth save is fine.
Yeah, we'll change the topic. Nothing to see here, Adam. I know that you said that you've been on a break, and I think that that's amazing. Taking breaks is so important. We've talked about this, I think, in every episode that we've had so far, and I imagine that it will continue to be a topic that we'll discuss. But
Hmm.
what is a goal in your life that you're working towards right now? Whether a short-term goal, a long-term goal, what do you have your sights set on?
Um, I have a few goals, and for some reason, I don't always like to have like one big goal that I'm working towards because that scares me. Like that really scares me because of how many times in my life that I've changed my mind. I'm always scared to make like a huge goal. I think like my biggest goal is actually more to do with my mental health and being happier in my like day-to-day life and just being more comfortable. And I feel like that has been my goal, especially since again I left that really horrible job. Um, like one of the biggest goals that I'd had for a really long time from like last year, I had really, 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 really bad health anxiety. Um, it kind of stemmed from that job that I had, like just there was so much anxiety from that job. And anyone that suffers from anxiety knows that it can manifest in the weirdest ways. And for me, it manifested as health anxiety. Don't know why, don't know where it came from. I don't come from a family of like lots of health issues, fortunately. So I don't know where that came from for me, but that's what I had to deal with for very it was very, very difficult. So like a big goal for me was getting better from that, and thankfully like I have been getting better from that. So for me it's always like my big goal in life is just to maintain my mental health, put my mental health first in terms of like my profession and like my relationships and just nurturing myself and my relationships. Like that's like an ongoing goal because I don't think that has like an end to it. Um in terms of other goals, like I guess in that ties in with like happiness and success. I want to be able to be I mean like anyone that does Twitch knows that it's very unstable income. It's not you can't like rely on it because it changes constantly. So I want to be in a place where I feel very stable and that hopefully Adam and I can move house and get a cat. That's one of my biggest goals right now because I just want a cat like more than anything, and our landlord here doesn't let us have one. So, in terms of happiness and like material things and monetary things, I want a cat. I want to move house and get a cat. But yeah, like the most important thing for me always in terms of a goal is just making sure that I'm like happy and like stable and just looking after myself because sometimes I'm not very good at that. So I have to like reel it back in and just remind myself to do that sometimes.
That's a good goal. Those are all good goals. I can't wait for you to be able to get a cat. I'm so
Oh my
excited
god.
already.
There's like nothing in this life that I want more than a cat. Like I asked my landlord, it took me a really long like we've lived here for 5 years and especially for some reason like I've always loved cats and dogs as well. But for some reason in the last year, like cats are like everything to me. Like I just there's not a day that goes by that I don't think about cats. And I it just we've lived here for 5 years. We have a really good relationship with our landlord actually, but so I a couple of months ago, me and my friend Cobble were talking about like he rents his place as well, and we were like we should ask our landlords if we could get cats. They could be like internet pals. Like we'll have internet cat pals. It's great. It's great. So we both like worked up the courage to ask our landlords. His said yes, and mine said no. And I because I had a great relationship with my landlord, like landlords are people have their own opinions about landlords, but we've been very fortunate with ours. He's very doesn't like, come around very often and like invade our space, and if we need help, he'll be there, no problem. And I just kind of thought like we've lived here for 5 years. He's gonna let us have a cat, right? He's gonna let us have a cat. No, there's like no, absolutely not allowed to have a cat. So that was heartbreaking because there's not a lot of places in Belfast that you can get a cat that like landlords will let you have them. So right now, I am living vicariously through my friend Cobble because he ended up getting a cat and he's the cutest little baby I've ever seen. So that is like my cat as well until I get a cat.
I keep seeing Cobble post his pictures of the the little boy, the little baby,
So
in
cute.
Cobble's hoodie, and all I can think is, Cobble, none of us can like compete with this marketing of
Um,
Bolin in the hoodie. Like, we just
yeah,
can't. Like, it's
I
Oh,
just
just can't do it.
it's
He's so cute.
it's top tier. It's top
He's
tier.
so cute. Bolin also has a TikTok, so
wow.
yeah, he's great. It's yeah, but a cat is like I'm allergic to cats as well, which is like it's really funny. But I will be on allergy medication for the rest of my life to have a little kitty cat. My dream cat is a Sphinx cat, like Bingus, but I will take any cat.
Katie,
Cool.
One day it'll happen.
You'll be a great cat mom one day.
Thank you, thank you. That means
oh,
a lot. I
so
just want
very,
a cat.
so very cute.
I just like when I get a cat, I will be the most annoying cat mom on the internet. Like I will have like an Instagram, I'll have a TikTok. It'll be on
That
stream
doesn't
all the
surprise me
time.
at all.
No, no.
No, no, no.
It will be babied.
Cute.
Yep.
Oh my goodness. Well, all my loves, I'm gonna take a quick break, so I'm gonna put up the BRB screen,
Okay.
and
Perfect.
we can mute, and I'll be back in like, I don't know, 3 minutes or so.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Thank you. Hello, friends. We are back. Back in business.
Hello.
Hello. Okay. How do you move on from cute cats? Like, I don't.
It's tough.
I don't know.
Um,
How do you transition from cute cats? Can't top that, I don't think. Um. Hmm. Here's a good like you don't you just go back to cute cats. That's what my mod said. um.
I mean, I could talk about cats for hours. This is fun.
Oh my gosh. And Toasty has the cutest cat. Their name is Donuts. We all live vicariously through Toasty because they post the cutest pictures of um, donuts in the Discord all the time. So the ones of us that don't have cats, we're just like,
That's such a cute
Donuts.
name. Please.
It's even cuter because they had a cat growing up named Duncan. So that's why it's
Oh my
Donuts. It's
gosh.
Dunkin' Donuts.
Oh my goodness. That's so cute.
Duncan lives on.
Duncan lives
Mhm.
on. Um, so my next question for you all is, oh, I see what they're saying. Is what is something about yourself that you would like to share more about, but no one really ever asks you about?
Hmm. It's kind of tough because I feel like I'm very like I sometimes I'm a person that overshares. I am the person that overshares on the internet, especially on Twitter. So yeah, like I don't know, my streams especially are very chatty. Like we have our conversations just they take turns. Like we can be talking about something really deep to being uwu to talking about how I eat dry toast. So like I'm I talk about pretty much everything that I want to talk about. Um there's kind of like especially when I'm like really open about my mental health and things about Twitch and how to navigate the content creation world. Um I'm very happy to be like really transparent about all of that stuff. Um I guess like one of the only things that I don't talk about as much sometimes is like my interests. And that sounds kind of weird because like I am a streamer and I do show my interests. But I am a huge K-pop stan. And sometimes I have to reel that in on stream. I think it comes from, and this is a conversation that I actually have had on stream like quite a few times. When I was younger, I was always like made fun of for being really into things. And I think a lot of people have had that experience, like you'll really, really like something and people be like, oh, you're so obsessed with this thing, like shut up. And I hate that attitude I always have. Like I don't like when people like kill people's excitement about the things that they love. Um so yeah, but then I do it to myself, right? Because I'm the worst. And yeah, I do it to myself like on stream. I'm like, ah, I shouldn't talk about that too much, but then I'm sitting here like talk about what you love and like be unapologetic about it, but I can't follow my own advice. And I think I do that with like a lot of things. Can't follow my own advice. If I could follow my own advice, that would be incredible. Um but yeah, yeah, I don't know why I do that, but I think it's very cool when people talk about the things that they love. Like my friend Brit, she loves Marvel, never really watched the Marvel movies. I think I've seen like one or two of them. Will I listen to Brit talk about how much she loves Captain America all day long? Yes, because I love when people talk about the things that they love and their eyes sparkle and they get really excited. I think that's really cool. And maybe having this conversation, I'll be like, yeah, okay, I'll actually listen to myself and maybe do that a little bit more.
Who's your
Yeah.
favorite K-pop group?
BTS.
Oh,
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
BTS.
Yeah. Yeah. I just they did like a live stream concert this morning and it was wonderful and I cried and it was great. It was really great.
I love that
What
for
a way to
you.
spend your morning. Sounds
Yeah, it
Mm-hmm.
was
ideal.
absolutely
Sounds
wonderful.
cathartic.
Mhm. Mhm. Mhm.
Oh my goodness gracious. Someone
I
asked, when did you
sorry.
start listening in the chat?
Literally like 3 months ago. I don't know, like I have always been hugely into music. I used to write for music, like an online music publication that was started by a friend, and it was so much fun. Like I would write like album reviews, single reviews, and live reviews. Remember like when we could go to live shows? Wow. Um Music has always been like a huge thing for me. Like when I was a teenager, I was a little emo girl. My Chemical Romance were absolutely everything to my heart and soul. And yeah, like it's just kind of like evolved since then. But I don't know how I never got into K-pop. I don't know how I quote unquote avoided that because I wasn't actively avoiding it, but I don't know how it never like came onto my radar. And the story of how I started liking K-pop is absolutely ridiculous, but when the Trickster DLC came out for Dead by Daylight, I was like, wow. And my friend Kirsten, who is one of my mods, was like, he looks like a guy from a K-pop group. And I was like, no, he doesn't. Show me this guy right now. And he does. He looks like an idol. He's like based off of like the image of this idol. It's
Yeah.
never been confirmed, but I'm convinced that he is this guy. And Kirsten was like, "This is my opportunity to ruin your life with K-pop idols." So she took that opportunity, and one night we sat on Discord and we watched so many K-pop videos, and I was like, "How have I missed how amazing this is? Like these all bops. All of the people are so beautiful. Like what the heck?" And ever since then, it's like, yeah, like 3 months ago. But it feels like I've liked it for way longer than that. My bank account would also say the same thing. But yeah.
Poor bank
Yeah.
account. We keep coming back to the poor bank account when
I
we talk
know.
about
That's the moral of the
Yeah.
story, really, is all of our
Yeah.
interests are draining our bank accounts.
Yep. 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 Pretty much.
But hey, I
But
mean,
like,
when you're an
as long as it makes you
adult,
happy.
exactly. What else are we
Hmm.
supposed to do? Like we
Just the worst things that you could be doing or spending your money on, right? So
absolutely.
I
that's
just
true.
got all my BTS plushies here, and it's
I think you're doing great.
fine.
That's true. There is definitely worse things you could be spending your money on. Also, I wanted to say, you said that you shouldn't, you probably didn't mean it like this, but you said that you stop yourself from talking about the things you're passionate about because you're stupid. You're not stupid, Katie.
Yeah,
You
yeah, I
have
know.
just been like, I think we've all experienced this at like once in our life, like we've been squished by somebody in a
Mm-hmm.
conversation, and it feels like, even for
Feels
myself,
bad.
it feels really bad. And like one of the weird things about streaming is like, especially in the beginning or on like days where a lot of your community are choosing to like lurk and vibe in the background, you have no
Mm-hmm.
choice but to just like talk to yourself. But like
Yep.
when you've been told so many times, like, oh, you talk too much. I mean, I remember like grade school, every single iteration of like conferences, it was like, B's a very good student, but they talk too much.
I've heard that before.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, oh, so it's like, I think like realizing that there's like a very real, valid reasoning behind why you probably get that like voice in your head that's telling you like you're talking too much about something you're interested in.
Yeah, for
It's like from
sure.
an early age we were getting pushed down and told those
Mm-hmm.
kind of things. So it's so hard to not stop yourself and say, "Oh, I
Yeah.
should stop. I should
Yeah.
whatever." But I like hearing you talk about K-pop. I like hearing you talk about
Thank you.
Fortnite. I like hearing you talk
Thank
about wanting a
you.
cat. So it's all valid and it's beautiful. So
Thank
don't let
you.
anyone tell you.
Okay, I will. I promise. I promise.
I
Think
think,
about B and I telling them
yeah.
Yes,
no
I will. I will.
next
I'll have
time.
this image in my head every time now, and I'll be like, Jupiter B, they're perceiving this.
Yes.
We are.
It's just so important too because I feel like sometimes it can be hard that like that's the balance that Jupiter and I always talked about with like the show and the questions and the conversations we wanted to have was like I feel like sometimes people like trauma porn like they only engage with you when you're struggling or when like you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about really like deep life stuff but when like a creator starts to talk about like just things that make them happy, little like
Mm-hmm.
goofy things. Like there is like a set of people who watch content who will stop watching.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
do you only want people when they're sad? Like I don't understand.
Yeah.
So, I think it's really
Mm-hmm.
important for both like creators and watchers to like give and just like with your friends, give people
Mm-hmm.
space to just like be excited about things because we don't get enough of that in our life.
Yeah, for sure. Like as I say, like there's things that some of my friends they like and I don't have any idea what it's about, but I'll still listen to them talk about it because I think it's cool. Like even just maybe learning about something new, right? Maybe you'll start liking it, but also just like hearing someone talk about something that they really like is so wholesome. I don't know why you wouldn't want to listen to that, you know? So, and also like they might start liking it and then you'll have someone like Kirsten did with me with K-pop. Now she is someone to freak over K-pop about. So, yeah.
Right. And you think that, I mean, I feel that we all feel this way with the people that you love or that you interact with in your life. Just having something else to connect with them on, like that's powerful. Even if you're just
Mhm.
learning it at a base level or, you know, you learn the name of that Marvel movie, like how cool
Mhm.
is that for your friend now that you can chat about that even just a little bit,
Yeah.
you know?
And you know what's like one of the cutest things ever? If I genuinely think this is a form of like love language for me, right? I don't know which category it falls into, but if I have a friend who doesn't say it's K-pop, right? If I have a friend that doesn't really know what that is, but they see a TikTok with a K-pop thing in it and they send it to me and be like, "This made me think of you." That's so cute. And like I love doing that for people. I don't know what this is, but it made me think of you. Here you go. You know? That's really cute. I like that.
It's, yeah, that's really sweet. It's funny
Mhm.
now that it's like sending someone a TikTok that makes them think of you because it used to be like a song or a YouTube video, and
Yeah.
the way the
A
world has
TikTok.
changed. It's all
Mhm.
about TikToks now.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I
But
just
that's
feel
that's
like it's a
completely
way
fine.
for someone to like share a little bit of themselves too.
Yeah.
Like even
Yeah.
though you don't know anything about Marvel, listening to Brit talk about Marvel, like you're getting to know what is it about Marvel that Brit likes as an
Hmm.
example. And I feel like that shows you like a little bit about that person.
For sure. Yeah.
Definitely.
Agreed.
Okay, Katie, here's a fun question. If you had 1 hour extra of time in the day, how would you spend it?
Wow. Okay, let me give like two answers for this because the
Sure.
realistic answer is that I would probably just procrastinate like I do like generally. Like I will have and I've done this since I was a teenager in school. Like I will have the most time in the world to do something. Will I leave that to like the very last minute? Yes. And I still do that. And it's really bad and yeah. But if I had an extra hour in the day, I think I would just uh I probably a couple of months ago I would have said I would work on my stream stuff. I would like spend more time I don't know, like making YouTube stuff or making content for other platforms or something. Now I would say, especially after taking this break, I'd spend it with Adam. I'd just spend it hanging out with Adam because he works very long shifts and when I stream him and I don't get to spend a lot of time together because he'll be like working all day. I'll be doing stuff during the day and then streaming. And then by the time it's like nighttime, we're like, I'm so freaking tired. Like, let's watch a couple of TikToks and then go to sleep. So, yeah, if I had an extra hour in the day, I would just like spend it with Adam. I've made him watch like some K-dramas with me recently, and that's been really,
Ooh.
really nice. So like my break has just consisted of watching K-dramas with Adam. I'm playing a lot of Fortnite. So yeah, that's what I would do. Either procrastinate, spend time with Adam, or play Fortnite.
Those are all great answers. I've heard that there's a wide selection of very good K-dramas on Netflix. I've not explored
Yeah.
this yet, but have you found this to be true?
Yeah, so I've only recently gotten into K-dramas. I don't do y'all know Theory of Belle,
Mm-hmm.
right? Okay, so Belle has like a K-drama TikTok. Would recommend.
Amazing.
Yeah, so she puts like recommendations of like K-drama, like new ones that are coming out, like anticipated ones, underrated ones. Is so good. Would highly recommend. But I started watching them because there's like an idol that I really like that's in this new one at the minute called Imitation. Very good. Uh, But there's one on Netflix called Crash Landing on You. And it's really, really, really popular. Like anytime I've asked friends that are into K-dramas for recommendations, they're like Crash Landing on You. Watch it. It's great. So it's on Netflix and I really, really, really want to watch it. Um but yeah, I've only watched like two so far, so I'm very baby in the K-drama. So I don't know if like even what I think is good is like actually good. But yeah, I watched one recently called Please Don't Date Him. And if you like rom-com kind of feels, it's very good. Very lighthearted, very easy watch, and the main cast are all absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it's great.
I think I have a new interest forming. I'm very excited.
Yeah.
I feel like this
If you
whole
get
stream has just been Joopy acquiring new things to look at.
Taking
listen,
notes for later.
if you need like Fortnite, like if you ever want to talk about Fortnite or K-pop or K-dramas, I will have those conversations all day long. Totally
Thank you.
fine.
Thank you.
It
See, like we
makes
said, I love hearing about your interests and your eyes are sparkling and it's beautiful.
Oh,
Yes.
thank you. Thank you.
Makes me very happy, especially like seeing you like take your break and like get to explore some of these things more.
Hmm.
Like just like I do be looking at the Discord and being like, oh, Katie's offline. That makes me very happy, cause like
Yeah.
it's important to have time where
Hmm.
you're like taking time. I'm like, good. She's not answering my
Yeah.
question. That's good, actually. I am very happy. She
Yeah.
can answer it when she's ready. Like,
Yeah.
I,
Yeah, I've been trying like, every time Adam and I like sit and watch stuff, K-dramas, TV shows, movies, I try every time to put my phone in the bedroom and just leave it. I I am addicted to my phone, but I feel like I've talked a little bit about this on stream, so I'm like I'm okay like talking about it. At the minute, I'm in the process of trying to get a diagnosis for ADHD because I'm like 99% sure with like conversations with my doctor and things that it's the path that I'm going down. So my brain is like always like wee woo wee woo. So every time, even if I'm watching like a movie or a TV show, even if I'm really invested in it, like I like just need, and that's another reason why I really like Fortnite actually, because I feel like it's a really nice like focus for like a small period of time and like bursts that really works for my brain. Um, but yeah, I have such a bad habit of just going on my phone all of the time, like even when I'm watching things that I'm really interested in. Um, so especially like over this break, I've been like just trying to be off my phone and offline like a little bit more and just being like a little bit more present, especially like with Adam and with like the things that I like. I also think K dramas have helped me with that as well because if you're not reading the subtitles, if you don't speak the language of the show that you're watching, then you're gonna miss everything. So that's been nice. Um, yeah, I think offline time is so important because anyone who's a content creator or works in social media in any capacity, it's so easy for it to just become all consuming. Like it just becomes everything. And that can be really, really hard to disconnect from. Um,
It
And then
moves
when you
so
go,
fast. That's like for
yeah.
me, I feel like there's a lot of pressure to like of course I want to support people, but there's so many lovely people and all in different time zones and
Hmm.
sometimes you just feel like this like I feel like this industry just moves so quickly. Like you can be off Twitter for like I'll have a work shift and come back and it feels like the entire world of streaming Twitter has exploded and
Yeah.
like you're just like oh my goodness gracious,
Yeah.
so like to
Even just being off your
disconnect is
phone for a couple of hours, you miss like so much stuff. It's
yeah.
truly wild. Hmm.
And then like you have a stream team. I know I'm like on a multiple, like I'm always like afraid someone's gonna need something from me and I'm not gonna
Hmm.
see it. Like yeah, it's
Hmm.
hard. It's very hard but
It's
very
hard.
important.
It's hard to balance the because I see a lot of people, especially again recently with like the shift in Twitch. Like I see a lot of people talking about like I'm really sorry if I can't be there in your stream. Like life has just suddenly got really busier, or I'm sorry if I can't sub because of like whatever personal reasons. And it's like as much as I think it's like really nice and really important to support your friends and people that you love and whatnot, like you do also have to you have to do like what's right for you. And like you're probably, I mean, unless your friend is like a little bit toxic, you're the only person giving yourself a hard time for not being able to be there. So yeah, that's another thing, like especially when you're, I know viewers feel it because you, and I'm sure y'all have experienced this, like viewers coming into your chat and being like, I haven't been here in a while, I'm so sorry. I'm always like, you don't have to apologize. Like everybody has their own stuff going on, and you know, that's just life, especially with things changing so much. And I think that's like even more of a thought when you're a streamer yourself, because like you're thinking about it from a streamer perspective and from a viewer perspective. But yeah, I think it like offline time is just so important. And again, it kind of like ties into having a total break from Twitch and streaming and content creation. Like if you want it to be a long-term thing, you have to like disconnect sometimes because it really can be all consuming and you
Mm.
can get caught up in like really negative feelings sometimes because of it. And yeah, taking that time to disconnect is like it's essential, I think.
It is. And I think like you're saying, like a true disconnect is really important. And even if, if you're on a long-term break, even if you only do that for a couple hours at a time, leaving your phone in the other room, being offline
Mhm.
on Discord, not checking messages for a while, like your
Mhm.
brain so needs that, you
Yeah.
know? And it's like I
Mhm.
try to remind myself that it is wild how you can, do a work shift or be off Twitter for 4 hours and you come back and it's like there's been 8 million things announced and people are
Mhm.
doing cool things. But I try to remind
Mhm.
myself that, at this point, having so many friends, being on different stream teams, like it's always going to be like that, right? And
Yeah.
you can always catch up, you can always go back and, show support to people, but taking that time for yourself is so imperative
Mhm.
and not normalized as it should be in the streaming
No.
space. I think we're working towards that slowly.
Yeah.
Especially with partners, Katie, taking a real break and being
Mhm.
transparent about it and saying
Yeah.
what that means to your mental health.
Mhm.
We're working towards it, but we still have some work to do in that in
Definitely.
this space for sure.
Yeah. For sure. Yeah. I think that's like it's one of the reasons like I posted like a huge, like I said earlier, I posted a huge thing on Twitter as to why I was taking a break. And like one of the things I mentioned in it was just about how like this isn't like a conversation that people normally have. Um, like there's a couple of content creators that I follow that are very transparent as well, but I just don't think it's like, like widely talked about. And yeah, like apart from the conversation that I had with Cobble where he was like, you need to take a break. Um, one of my favorite content creators is Joy. She's the leader of Star Spillers, the stream team that I'm also on. And she took a break. Can't remember like exactly when it was. I believe it was the start of this year. And she was just very honest about like she just needed to take a break, and she did have the fears that I think every streamer could have is like I feel like I'm gonna lose everything. Um but it is just essential to take that step away. And you know, these things in terms of numbers can always be rebuilt, but like,
Mhm.
you know, you might not be able to come back from it if you don't look after yourself, which is
Yeah.
the point where I was feeling like I wanted to quit. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think having those conversations, I think that's why I have those conversations a lot, because it just should be talked about. Like, I don't really know why it's not, I guess. Like, I don't know why
Right.
it's not talked about.
Yeah. It's like it's still taboo, and
Hmm.
it's a lot harder to rebuild your mental health, right? It's a lot harder
Hmm.
to rebuild you having to get up every morning and look at yourself in the mirror and feel inspired and passionate about what you're doing.
Hmm.
And there's no numbers, there's no statistics without that.
Yeah,
So take those breaks, take care of
yeah,
yourself.
for sure. Everybody, you take care of yourselves,
We're talking
all
to
of you.
you.
Yes. Whether you're a content creator or not, whatever it is that you do, like you need to
Right.
make sure that you can like be present in what you're doing if you never take a break. Like that's been my
Yeah.
experience anyways. Like I feel like
Hmm.
my ability to be present and like actually enjoy what I'm doing is taken away from me if I don't take some time to like step back and look at it from a bigger perspective, because otherwise you
Hmm.
get caught up in like the nitty-gritty little details that really at the end of the day
Yeah.
they don't matter.
Hmm.
Yes.
100%.
I will ask you probably just one more question, because I know that you have to like hop to another stream after this for the
I do.
fundraiser, and I want you to have at least a couple of minutes to just like breathe. I saw that on the announcement, and I was like, wait a minute, Katy, not you on here telling us all to take breaks, and then you scheduling yourself like back to back to back to
Yeah,
back.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, that
Mhm.
happened.
Mhm.
Gotta
I
hunt some ghosts, you know, it's fine.
I perceive you. Although, I mean, it'll be fun, but the last question I just have for you is that like if you could tell something to past Katy, what would you let her know after the experiences that you've had now?
Wow. That's so hard because there's so many things I'd tell little baby Katie. Um I think like one of the most important things that I would tell, especially like my younger self, like young teenager self, is just to like it's so hard even now I still wobble with this, but especially when I was a teenager, I cared so much about what people thought of me. And I was like a chameleon, like changed myself to try to fit in and just failed at every opportunity because I wasn't being myself, you know? Um, I think one of the things I would say is just be yourself and just be proud of like the person that you are, because the qualities that you have, like supporting your friends, loving the things that you love like with your whole heart, are good qualities. And the people that don't like that just don't matter. Like they just do not matter. I just wish like when I was a teenager, I had as much, I mean, none of us had the confidence that we have now when we were teenagers, but I just wish that I could go back and just, you know, kick my butt with just a little bit more confidence, because I had such a rough time when I was like in high school, when I was a teenager, because I was so shy, so scared of being myself, just so like afraid of what everyone thought of me. And so because of that, I just didn't have a good time in school, and it just wasn't enjoyable at all. Um so yeah, I wish I could go back and just kick myself with a little bit more confidence and just a little bit more pride in who I am myself. But in terms of like maybe more like adult me, I would just, especially when I was going through the toxic job situation, I just wish I could go and tell her that that boss was not a nice person and that she would be okay anyway, you know? Because when I was at that job, like I went home almost every night in tears because my boss was just not a nice guy. So yeah, I wish I could go and say like you will get through this, but I think that also, you know, it kind of comes hand in hand with like there was like lessons to be learned for me there as well. So as much as like some of those situations really sucked, like I learned a lot about what I want and how I want to look after myself and the types of people that I want to work for. Like so much was learned. I just wish I could just go and like whisper in her ear and be like, it's gonna be okay. Like you're gonna be fine. Especially when I kind of left that job and was like, my whole world is ending, like everything that I've worked towards is like gonna fall now. I just wish I could go and say like you'll actually be fine. You're making the right decision. So yeah, those are a couple of things that I would say.
Oh my goodness gracious.
I like how you didn't say like you wouldn't want them to happen, that they were like impactful, but just that you would know that you were okay. That was very cute. Like,
Yeah. Yeah, because I definitely wouldn't have like I wouldn't have the confidence to do what I do now if I didn't go through those things. I wouldn't have the confidence to work for myself. There's so many things that I wouldn't do had I not went through those things. So yeah, there's some things that I wish like never happened, but overall the situation I grew from a lot. So yeah, I just wish I could just go and say like, it will be okay. This is not the end of the world. Because when you're in those type of situations, especially like leaving a job, it's just like, it feels like an end of the world type, like what am I gonna do now? Like, are things gonna work out? Have I made the wrong decision? I just wish I could go and say like, you're gonna be fine. You're gonna be fine.
yeah. We all need that reminder sometimes, don't we?
Yeah.
We do.
Yeah. Mhm.
Transitional periods in life are so stinking hard.
They
Yeah.
are. They are. There's always something to learn from them, but like at the time, you're just like, cry.
You're
Yeah.
absorbed by the like fear.
Mhm.
I feel like.
Yeah. And like, why do I
Mhm.
have to go through this? You know, like,
Yeah.
yeah.
In chat right now, Ice Tea Kitty, that's Kirsten, who ruined my life with K-pop. So shout out, Kirsten. I love you too.
Good job. Good
Yep.
job. You facilitated a good, I don't know, 20 minutes of this
Yeah.
interview, Kristen.
Mhm.
And lots of joy, it seems like,
Yeah,
as well.
lots of
so.
joy. Yes, yes, that is true.
And you hurt Katie's bank account.
Yeah, yeah. Like I don't know. Like well, like if this ends it on a lighthearted note, let me show you this. Right.
Oh, I'm excited.
There's these things in K-pop where like if you get an album, right, you get a photo card of like a member of a K-pop group, but you can get fake photo cards on like Etsy because people make them. Do you want to see how carried away I got? How many photo cards I have?
I do.
Yes.
I do want to see, actually.
Please.
I do.
This is my pile.
Katy!
Amazing! Wait, show us some.
Okay.
Katy! I love this so much. Not playing cards.
This is BTS.
but photo
They're
cards.
so beautiful. Look at them.
They're so cute. I like this
Love them.
one. This is my favorite member. He's a little silly. Yeah, I have a lot of photo cards. It's all Kirsten's fault, actually. It's all Kirsten's fault.
That one was so cute with the little
Little
Yeah.
face.
Yeah, yeah. So, yeah,
deep
that's
dive.
what happens
Katy
when I
takes
start
deep
liking
dives.
something.
Oh my
That's
goodness.
that's a fixation. My fixation works harder than the devil, you know what I mean? I work harder, my fixation works harder.
I love that for you though.
Yeah.
The only part about fixating that's really hard is when you're a variety content creator and your variety is being addicted to one game and then switching to the next
Mhm.
game and then switching.
Oh, I feel that. Yeah. Mhm.
The struggle.
Yeah, it is a struggle.
The joy and the struggle.
The joy and the struggle.
Yes. All right, my love. Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. It was
Thank
a pleasure.
you. It was so much fun. I love this whole idea. And I can't wait to see all of the other creators that you have on this because I just think it's really, really freaking cool. And like Jupiter said at the start, like we like need more of this in
Mhm.
the streaming space, like seeing, who the streamers actually are and like who people are and their stories, and because everybody has a really unique, nice story to tell, and everybody has their own stuff. And some of the people that you have coming up on this is just really freaking cool. So I'm really excited for you. And y'all are, I don't know if either of you have interviewed before, but you are naturals and have made me feel so comfortable. Like I was so nervous, I was shaking. And just thank you for being so like accommodating and yeah, making me feel just it's just literally like just sitting. It doesn't even feel like we're on a stream right now. It feels like we're just chatting and that's really really nice. So, thank you for having me. I think this is wonderful and I can't wait to see what else you do. Teehee. Ooh-woos.
Thank you so much, Katie. It was so wonderful talking with you.
Thank you. Thank you.
I
Well,
love you both very much. I hope you both
I
have a
will,
very good rest of your day.
yes,
Love you,
I'm off to
friends.
hunt some ghosts
Good
and
luck.
yep.
Have fun.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
Go do the scary ghost things and raise money. Do the things.
Yes. Raise is it hunt a ghost for charity? Yep, yep.
Yes, yes,
Thank you
yes.
so much, guys. Thank you.
Bye, my love.
Bye.
Goodbye.
Always happens with the. But I have it set up now. Look, magic. I fixed it. Um, I
Ooh,
have a
be
button. I
amazing.
have a button now, so we can switch between them, and they don't all break, which is lovely.
We're
Um,
learning.
we're learning. We're growing. Um, bye, Katie. As always, we're gonna say a goodbye to the lovely Jupiter, and I'm going to, much probably to their dismay, give them a shout out because although we host these conversations here, Jupiter does just as much work as I do behind the scenes. And if you like their energy, you should send them some love. Yes, there we go. And one more time, if you enjoyed Katie and anything that she had to say, now that she's not here and I can ooh woo over her without making her stressed out, unlike I do to Jupiter every time. I am here and Katie, please. Katie is she's a shy bean, so the fact that she like came on here and put herself out here and shared some of her experiences and passions with us. I